Did they call it crew glue?
Crew glue. That's what Captain Dale Dye was always.
I didn't hear this.
Oh, you really were late, huh?
No, I'm not even part of the WhatsApp group. Would you believe that? I've only found out about today.
Come on.
Yeah, so they're doing their own thing, you know that. Anyways, it's cool.
All right, so last time I spoke to you guys, I said we've got the hottest cast assembled in Hollywood. That's backed by Gary Getzman, Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks. But then what we didn't talk about was these directors. You've got all these powerhouse directors on one show. So you've got Carrie, you got Dee Reese, you got Ryan and Anna, and of course Tim. And these, like, those names are associated with some of the biggest shows in television. So what was it like having that many powerhouse directors and being able to work with that many of them on one project?
Man, it's such a blessing, and I feel so fortunate to have an opportunity like that, because each director has their own style. We just were so lucky. It felt like a big family that was all focused on one vision, you know, this vision of bringing this to life with as much honesty and passion as we possibly could. And so our experience with each one of those directing teams was just incredible. And I've been a fan of each of theirs from far before I had a chance to work with them. For sure. So it was a blast.
100%. I mean, like you said, like literally from the top down, the names attached and the people who were involved in making this project, it was just incredible to be supported and around so much experience and talent. And for me, like, at this stage in my career, to get the opportunity to be on a series like this and to work with 4 different directors, like you said, with very different styles, it was great because I felt like I almost was although of course it was the same goal, I got to work with different styles and it felt like I had different experiences throughout. But at the same time, they all kind of gave us the free range to roll with our characters, because we were there obviously throughout the whole thing. So I felt like very at ease to kind of be able to trust my research and my instincts within Ken Lemons' world. And then I feel like they just like filled in all the gaps in such a brilliant way. And to work with them all was it was a dream come true for sure.
Yeah, each director brought their own new flavor to it. You know, Carrie had such an amazing scope with all the war stuff, you know? And then Ryan and Anna came in and it was more sort of interpersonal, the relationships. Then Dee Reese had such delicacy and beauty with the Tuskegee storyline. And then Tim Van Patten, who's just an absolute OG of television. You know, what else did he do? Band of Brothers, Sopranos, Boardwalk. Any great series of all time has Tim Van Patten all over it. And he was just great just to ring it out and give that great last finale. So it was great for us as young actors just to learn from these legends of film. And each day was so different with them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. As you said, you young actors. So check this out, right?
Youngish,
I'm talking to Tom
29.
Hanks.
I don't know if I can still say young anymore, but...
No, it is. It's perfect, because when I was in Los Angeles for the carpet, I was talking to Tom, and he talked about the fact that all the young actors at the time that were on the Band of Brothers and the Pacific, how they've all gone on to become all leading men in leading roles in big shows. And so we thought, hey, did you guys do this again with this cast? And I was talking to Gary Getzman just now, and he said, I think we might have done even more. He thinks that your cast has great potential to continue and to go on and dominate Hollywood. So how do you feel hearing that?
Well, yeah,
from Tom
and I
Hanks and
are
Gary
probably
Getzman.
going to win Oscars next year.
Yeah, sure.
And then the year after that, the year after that, the year after that.
Yeah, of course.
No, that's obviously such a high compliment coming from Gary. But yeah, we just try and do your best, and we tried to just do our best in the series, and we hope people respond to it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and those guys in Band of Brothers, like, I remember watching them as a kid, you know, and I was deciding, like, do I want to be an actor, you know, and seeing them, and just, they became heroes to me, and so, you know.
And that's Gary trying to sell the show, you know? I'm not taking that as any compliment towards me and you. That's just him trying to sell the show.
A lot of these soldiers had different accents, Irish accents, British accents. I wondered, you know, for you, Austin, have you ever been challenged to have to give your best British accent the way they had to come with their best American accent?
I actually haven't. No, I don't think I've ever played British.
You know what? That sounds like a project starring Callum Turner and Austin Butler. That's the next one.
That sounds like a nice challenge. That's on our list.
We talked about Band of Brothers. We talked about the Pacific, and now we've got this iteration where you have Bloody 100th. Why was it important to tell this part of the story?
Oh, we had, well, if you wanted to go, it was land, Marines, islands, sea,
Right.
air. We could say it was like that. And it probably was. I mean, to do different, very different ways of handling World War II warfare. But Stephen's father had been in the Army Air Force and wondered after Stephen and we had done Band of Brothers if he was going to do the air, the fighter pilots and all that stuff. And it kind of kept in Stephen's head, and talked to Tom about it. We all discussed at times, what would be the materials, to kind of get. Anyway, I'm really a boring story here, but I'll make it short. And so we eventually found Don Williams and his book, Masters of the Air, and it kind of made it go, okay, we can probably get something going here. Then our big problem was trying to figure out how to do it, make it real. The technology wasn't quite there, and eventually kind of got there. And so we were kind of on the edge of that.
Callum, when I was on the carpet with you guys in Los Angeles, somebody was talking about the crew glue. At first I didn't really understand what it was, but that was something I guess basically that came out of the boot camp. So what was that experience like, and who was a standout at boot camp? Who really could have been a soldier?
I don't know who really could have been a soldier. I don't really think about that. Crew glue is the thing that unites these guys, and it's the thing that, 10 men go up into a plane to drop bombs on a country that's trying to destroy the world and their freedoms. And they are in the most volatile atmosphere you could possibly imagine every time they go up. And that crew glue is the thing that keeps them together and it bonds them. And when you're up there, you're not fighting for yourself, you're fighting for the man next to you. And so the crew glue is the thing that, the most important thing. And then it spreads out actually with the formations of the planes and the way that they are unified in that. And then with the squadrons, it's just a massive operation. Everything has to be tight and organized. What these guys did is truly incredible. And it's an honor to represent them. It really is. I don't know, man. Who could be the best soldier?
Don't even worry about that. As long as...
I don't know. There was everybody gave it their all. I feel.
I reckon Nate, man.
Nate could, I think.
All right, we gotta go
shout
with
out
Nate.
to
We
Nate.
gotta go with Nate. Yeah.
One thing I've been talking about with everybody from the cast was talking about the boot camp, and I heard that there was something that came out of that called the crew glue. I wanted to ask you who you guys felt was like a standout in boot camp. Who looked like they could potentially actually be a soldier?
You know what? Butler.
I was just gonna say Austin.
Butler took to it like a duck to
Austin,
water.
yeah.
Like it just if it took everyone 2 weeks to learn how to fly a plane, Austin got it in like 1.
100%.
I think he was going home and studying it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He was bringing home the sheets and whatever, and like drilling it into his head to have it like second nature.
Wow.
Yeah, and he would, because we were divided up in like rank and file, and I think he was my officer at one point. You have to, he was like, here's where we go, here's where we're gonna, marching out the orders, and I was like, I'll follow you anywhere.
Well, I came quite late to boot camp, as Biddick does. As it's such a character thing, I think, to do. But yeah,
it actually kind of tracks. Yeah,
He's busy up in Scotland or something.
Yeah, he's busy up in Scotland, which I actually was in Scotland.
Oh, really?
Weirdly. But I remember coming in the day and seeing everyone kind of lined up and back straight, and I think I was like, eating a Snickers or something like that. I was like, all right, lads. I was like, good to see you. Well, see you Monday. And everyone was like, what the fuck is going on there? But I just came on board, it wasn't a thing on purpose that I did. I got to it late. But I know the lads went through quite a lot, and then I was kind of, dropped into it, and I had to go through all the logistics of the B-17 and get quite familiar and make it look second nature. But I had a lot of fun, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I always love a challenge, and it wasn't necessarily a physical challenge. It was more just the kind of the mental stamina of being in this cockpit and making it look at ease and stuff like that. But yeah.
I'd say the boot camp, the way they kind of split us up, although we were all together, they split us up into our like kind of flight crews, our ground crews, the colonels, and it put us in our places. We all kind of knew where we stood within the story, and as well as that, like the pilots who flew the planes together bonded extra, and it kind of, that was a really good element, I think, to get that crew glue together. And yeah, shout out to Captain.
What did they call it? Crew glue?
Crew glue. That's what Captain Dale Dye was always.
I didn't hear this.
Oh, you really were late, huh?
No, I'm not even part of the WhatsApp group. Would you believe that? I've only found out about today.
Come on.
Yeah, so they're doing their own thing, you know that. Anyways, it's cool.
Okay, so at least you weren't just dodging me, you've been dodging them too.
Stay mystique, isn't it? I mean.
Like the video? Then hit the button, or better yet, drop us a comment. Then check out our latest videos here. And don't forget to subscribe by hitting the button here for more celebrity interviews and entertainment news.